March 2026, the sky over Western Australia turned blood red. Not pink, not orange. Deep, dark arterial red, like the sky was bleeding. Residents of Shark Bay looked up and felt like they were standing on the surface of Mars. The air was thick with dust. You could feel it in your eyes. You could taste it in your mouth. The footage went viral within hours. Millions of people watched it and asked the same question. Is this the end of the world? 1 week later, across the globe in Great Britain, rain began to fall. But it was not normal rain. It was red, thick, rust-colored droplets that stained cars, windows, and clothes. People called it blood rain. The phenomenon spread across Europe, covering parts of Spain, France, and Germany. Social media exploded with videos of red-stained streets and apocalyptic headlines. And then, almost at the same time, something happened in Tel Aviv, Israel. Thousands of crows descended on the city in massive, swirling flocks, so dense they darkened the sky. Videos showed the birds clustering, dispersing, and regrouping mid-air, creating dark, fluid shapes against the clouds. People on the ground filmed with shaking hands. One person called it Armageddon. Another said it looked like a scene from a horror movie. 3 events, 3 continents, all in the same month. Red skies, blood rain, and a murder of crows. If you are religious, these look like signs from the Book of Revelation. If you are superstitious, they look like omens of death. And if you are a scientist, they look like something else entirely. This is the truth behind the so-called signs of the apocalypse, and the real explanations might be more fascinating than the myths. Let us start with the blood-red sky over Australia. On March 28, 2026, tropical cyclone Narelle was tearing across Western Australia with winds reaching 200 kilometers per hour. It was a devastating storm that ripped roofs off buildings, caused massive power outages, and disrupted the production of 2 of Australia's biggest liquefied natural gas plants. But the cyclone did something else that nobody expected. Its powerful winds whipped up iron oxide-rich soil from the desert and launched it into the atmosphere. Iron oxide is rust, the same chemical compound that makes Mars red. When billions of particles of iron oxide are suspended in the air, they scatter sunlight in a way that filters out every color except deep red. The result is a sky that looks like it has been dipped in blood. Meteorologist Veronica Johnson confirmed that multiple factors played a role: the cyclone's wind speed, the composition of the desert soil, and the angle of the sunlight all combined to create this otherworldly display. The Shark Bay Caravan Park, which posted the original footage, responded to skeptics by saying, "No filter, this is it. You can feel the dust in your eyes and mouth." The phenomenon lasted for several hours before stronger winds and rain eventually cleared the sky and restored normal conditions. It was terrifying, it was breathtaking, and it was completely natural. Now let us talk about the blood rain. In early 2026, meteorologists warned that Great Britain and parts of Europe would experience showers of red rain. The cause was thousands of miles away, in the Sahara Desert. Massive dust storms in North Africa lifted billions of tons of fine red sand particles high into the atmosphere. Upper-level winds carried this dust cloud north across the Mediterranean, over Spain and France, and into the skies above Britain. When rain clouds formed, the water droplets mixed with the suspended Sahara dust. The result was rainfall that appeared red, orange, or rust-colored. When it landed on surfaces, it left a thin layer of reddish-brown residue that looked disturbingly like dried blood. The phenomenon of blood rain has been documented for thousands of years. The ancient Greek poet Homer described it in the Iliad, written around the 8th century BC. The medieval chronicle Polychronicon recorded multiple instances across Europe. For centuries, people genuinely believed the rain was actual blood falling from the sky, a divine punishment or a warning of war and plague. Today, scientists understand that most cases of blood rain are caused by one of two things. Either desert dust, typically from the Sahara, gets carried into the atmosphere and mixes with precipitation, or aerial spores from a microalgae called Trentipolia annulata become trapped in rain clouds and give the water a red tint. In the case of the 2026 European blood rain, it was Saharan dust. Completely harmless, completely natural, and completely terrifying to anyone who does not know what is happening. The most famous modern case of blood rain occurred in Kerala, India, in 2001. For nearly 2 months, intermittent red rain fell across the state, depositing an estimated 50,000 kilograms of red particles. Initial analysis suggested the color came from spores of the Trentipolia algae. But a controversial study by physicist Godfrey Lewis claimed the red particles were extraterrestrial, possibly alien cells transported to Earth by a meteorite that exploded over Kerala shortly before the rain began. The scientific community largely rejected this theory, but it captured the public imagination and turned the Kerala blood rain into one of the most debated weather events of the 21st century. And then there are the crows. In late March 2026, massive flocks of crows were filmed swirling over Tel Aviv, Israel. The videos showed thousands of black birds moving in dense, synchronized patterns, clustering together, breaking apart, and reforming into dark, fluid shapes against the sky. The sight was so dramatic that it immediately sparked fears of biblical prophecy. The timing made it worse. The sighting came amid rising tensions between Iran, Israel, and the United States. For many viewers, thousands of black birds circling over a city on the edge of conflict felt like a sign from above. But ornithologists, bird scientists, were not alarmed. What the videos showed was a phenomenon called a murmuration. Large flocks of birds, including crows, starlings, and other species, often gather in massive groups during fall and winter. American crows form communal roosts that can exceed 1 million birds. They gather for warmth, for safety from predators, and because urban environments provide reliable food sources and warmer microclimates. The swirling shape-shifting patterns are created by each bird following 3 simple rules. Stay close to your neighbors, match their speed, and avoid collisions. These 3 rules, repeated by thousands of individuals simultaneously, produce the mesmerizing aerial displays that look choreographed but are entirely spontaneous. It is not a sign of the apocalypse. It is mathematics made visible. A group of crows is called a murder. The term dates back to medieval English hunting manuals from the 1400s, when aristocrats created poetic names for groups of animals. Crows earned this dark label because they were commonly seen on battlefields and near sites of plague, feeding on the dead. Throughout history, crows have been associated with death, war, and bad omens across dozens of cultures. The ancient Romans practiced augury, reading the future in the flight patterns of birds. In Norse mythology, the god Odin had 2 ravens named Hugin and Munin who flew across the world each day, gathering information. In Japanese mythology, the 3-legged crow Yatagarasu is a divine guide. So why do we see apocalypse in nature? The answer lies not in the sky, but in the human brain. We are pattern-seeking creatures. Our survival depended on finding connections between dark clouds and incoming storms, between rustling grass and hidden predators. This ability to find patterns kept us alive for hundreds of thousands of years. But it also means we see patterns where none exist. We see faces in clouds. We see meaning in coincidences. And when three unusual natural events happen at the same time, we connect them into a narrative of doom. Psychologists call this apophenia, the tendency to perceive meaningful connections between unrelated things. When a red sky, blood rain, and a murder of crows all occur in the same month, our brains scream that they must be connected, they must mean something. But they do not. They are three separate natural phenomena, caused by three unrelated forces: a cyclone, a dust storm, and bird migration, happening on three different continents. The real apocalypse is not in the sky, it is in our tendency to fear what we do not understand. And the cure is not prophecy, it is knowledge. This has been The Odd Vault. If this unlocked something in your mind, subscribe, because we open a new vault every week. What they didn't tell you, we will.